Vehicle and asset finance from ABSA, going the extra mile to get you financed.
The start of the 2008 ABSA off-road season proper is finally upon us, and it's Hannes Grobler who leads it off from the line. He has a slight 19-second advantage.
Yes, Robert, and he will want to get out to a good start before they get out into the rough country.
And he'll know that Duncan Vos will be chasing the taillights of his stablemate for as long as he possibly can, as fast as he possibly can.
And Vos starts off with intent. Look at the Nissan Navara 4-litre grunt. He left some rubber on the tyre and then out there on the dirt.
Look out, Vos and Pitchford on the war trail and not willing to take any prisoners.
Vos is a fitness fanatic, and he and Pitchford form a great partnership. It certainly worked last year when Duncan was unstoppable. 10 odd K's in, and Vos not having to travel in any dust, just far enough back to ensure that he would keep an eye on Grobler, but not get hampered by bad visibility.
And cautious, but quickly through the ditch.
And now let's make a comparison with how the specials tackled this little baby. This is Variawa and Rousseau just 10 seconds behind. They've dropped 5 further back. Vos going well, but then Variawa closes on him right here. Tough racing early on.
Harkus and Leek, a veteran of off-road rallying, with some superb crafty moves up his racing suit sleeve, piloting that big motorized bat superbly, and also just staying out of dust in front of them on a rather wind-still day. Cronje and Birken also flying hard.
Left 9, right 9, got to stop. Yeah, right.
This pair last year were within shouting distance of the finish line when they had 2 mishaps and had to relinquish victory. They were hoping for much better today. And the defending special category champ Hutchison with his co-driver Kim Bergman just 36 seconds in arrears as they pass this point and pulling out all the stops as they start catching the production cars.
With Naeem Musaji and Rayan Bodania in that tire rack Jimco Chevy-powered 5.7-litre special, chewing up the Western Cape off-road tracks as well. Tollefson and Evans very steady early on and doing the right thing, staying out of trouble early on and looking after the Nissan Navara as well.
But the dust gaps were closing and the drivers were starting to feel the pinch of little or sometimes no visibility.
Not that this stopped the Atlas Copco crew of Berthold and new man Pierre Aris, who were right at home, at speed and clearly reveling in the conditions. Travelling inside the Ford Ranger with Woolridge and Schulthammer, the deep ruts and loose sand was steadily getting worse the further back you were.
And they were just up into the top 5, but keeping it loose yet fast enough to be competitive. Cully and Quinton Silwald also let it all hang out, but they had hit a ditch and the throttler got stuck. The Zarko was revving at 4,000 revs per minute, not the ideal for this dry, dusty route.
And the Chris Visser-Yabi-Bardenos combination were holding their own too, clocking some fast intermediate times. The Castrol Toyota team looking in control.
And ditto for Alfie Cox and Henny ter Steege in the beautifully decked out motorized SP, the 2-wheel Supremo clearly back in the zone. And then drama as Woolridge rounds the corner, a fire blazing in the distance. Certainly not a felt fire, as the scene comes into view, Hutchison and Bergman's motorized bat in big billowing flames.
And the other car there, that of Musaji and Bodhania, also wrecked. Something big went on there. An unusual sight in ABSA's off-road racing, a burning special. Woolridge stopping without hesitation.
Up front, Grobler and Moore, obviously their combination was working well together. They were working on maintaining a 35-second advantage over their stablemate and workhorse, Duncan Vos, who was certainly in a fighting mood. Let's now go in-car with Cronje and Birken, who were themselves in a dogfight for third, 1 minute and 37 seconds off the lead and whittling it down. The Toyota pair starting off where they left off in 07, in a winning mood and ready to do more battle.
Woolridge and Scholthammer had given up a lot of time and places to help at the accident scene, where Hutchison and Bergman hit a ditch and rolled 4 or 5 times. And then the tyre rack team did the same, hit the motorized bat, which rolled again, so setting it alight in the process.
And here's the off-road dilemma. Dust, no visibility. Whoops. And the region team of Michael Whitehouse and Matthew Carlson, the sandwich in something which looks like a high-speed case of almost toasted Sami.
Now, let's watch Neil try to overtake the men in the Bat Spec 1 with the Chevy Corvette engine. And the Ford narrowly makes it through the gate ahead. Great racing in the ABSA Off-Road Championship.
And this, Rob, is just race 1 of the season. Grenier and Birkin whipping it along, trying to find the shortest possible route within the laws, and the Total Motorsport Porter, Vario and Rousseau here gaining time on them with every turn of the wheel. The 7-litre Big Beat machine was eating them for breakfast. And surely it wouldn't be long. Grenier makes way, and as we thought, the former SA champ Vario whips it right past on the way to what looked like a very fast clocking for the first loop of 166 Ks. And big news too from the route is that Grobler and Moore had stalled on a hairpin, and Foss and Pitchford, thus the new leaders.
That little mishap cost the multiple champ more than a minute, and on the way to the compulsory 15-minute designated service point, it was a Nissan 1, 2 and 4.
Foss whipping the big Nissan Navara 4-litre through its paces, and more importantly, dust-free, no one ahead, and just the wide open spaces of the Western Cape in front of them, as well as a burning desire inside them to succeed again.
But discount Grobler at your own peril. The stall may have cost him time, but that would only have made him more determined to succeed and get back to the top of the class. And he had already ripped back 35 seconds. The man is a machine.
And Variawa himself was on a mission to get as much of a lead as possible on the other specials. The Total Motorsport driver and his navigator Rousseau had eked out a very handy lead over Harkes and Leek in the motorized bat. Marsh and Groenewald in the Regent were impressing in third, while Ruacon's Peter Ruthven and De Waal Boshoff were up into fourth.
Harkes with Leek riding shotgun in a special for the first time in a while was obviously having a great time, with Harkes doing the piloting, and the motorride crew were also peacefully unaware of what had happened to their team manager Hutchison, who was luckily unhurt and had to drag an unconscious Bergman to safety.
Grenier and Birkin third fastest through the early checkpoint, and with DSP round the corner were trying to close about a 3-minute and 17-second lead to Foss at the front.
With Grobler, the 2006 champion, and Moore, the new man in the Nissan squad, themselves trying to erase a 33-second gap. Fine driving after giving away so much time due to that lapse in concentration.
Some private pilots licensed stuff from Visser and Bardnost in the Castrol Toyota as they held on for dear life in fifth and looking for all the world like podium contenders at this stage.
And with a designated service point not too far down the road, which meant some eat and drink and a clean visor again, the Regent lads Marsh and Groenewald were ideally set for their own podium in the special vehicle racing category.
With Alfie Cox ironing out all those little things that need to be straightened out in a new car, Tersteeg and he have been a formidable combination for a few seasons now, and it seemed they were getting to grips with their new charge.
Ruacon CEO Peter Ruthven and De Waal Boshoff were putting together their best ride of their careers and were up into the top 10 comfortably, shunting that bat with a Chev 5.7 engine all the way to the first breathing stop of the day. With Berthold and Houghton not too far behind them and chasing as hard as only Bevan can.
Woolridge and Scholthammer were justifiably shaken up after helping out at the accident scene where Bodhania tore ligaments and muscles in his neck and back, while Bergman suffered concussion, but they were soon back in the groove.
On reflection, though, the Regent racing team had 2 campaigners in the top 10, and the blue and yellow squad were sitting pretty. Muddy, but pretty.
Next, Adenko's Johan and Etienne Besaindo charged through, doing a fine job and leading Class B, with the Micra and Excel dealer team appearing through the dust, rather magically. The husband and wife team, the Parkhuisens, were up into 8th place in the production class and looked like $1 million with a halfway mark approaching. And here's the second Rurikon car on the road. It's the brothers David and Gary White who had quietly and without fuss got into the top 10 and scared some more fancied opposition.
Guelpha and Fontana must have been scaring themselves at times. They were going so fast.
The Keymax team, Young Cry with Tiddo Vogt in their 2-litre Nissan Bat, were in awesome form yet again. Young won 5 races on the trot last year to close out the class championship and despite clutch trouble was going well. And in Class B, the competition was as tight as up front. There's Besaidnout and Johan de Bruin making their bats sing along.
With Class D's depth and standard also showing, Ramon Besaidnout and Stefan Locke in their Toyota 4x4 machine eating up the ground. Followed rather closely by the Raceonics men, Coetzee Labuskaghni and Johan Gerber, rapidly descending back to Darling.
But the dust was a huge factor, and often drivers gave themselves a little room to let Mother Nature do her thing and blow away the worst of it.
And here's the other extreme. One driver desperate to go by, and often this is where the cars are broken. Ditches, ruts and dongas are hit at speed because teams get impatient. All part of the sport, but a tough learning school. In Class E, Visser and LaRue were setting the pace in clocking 2 hours and 29 minutes for the first loop in the Team Barbaspan Toyota and drove flawlessly.
With another Rurikon team, Loader Brain and Rudy Brits also still right in the thick of things in Class B.
And talking thick, the sand had been a problem all morning and the cars had worked extremely hard. For Thomas Rundle and Brian Roberts in the Barden Tyre Services Nissan Hardbody with its 2.4-litre engine, a good finish was on the cards. And campaigning for the first time in the SP class, the green and black Landy of Harold and Tian Kun trundled into view, looking for a finish to mark their debut.
The brothers Matten, Henry and Maurice had to battle to get their Roby Nissan going after the prologue, but the visual proof here was that they did, and then kept it going some more. Weichelt and Goch still in the hunt in Class D, and keeping the pressure on the Zamattens just a few ticks up the road. The Deploys Nissan, meanwhile, though, made it 2 for 2. A burning exhaust and a second burnt-out wreck. That's 2, as the Motorite Bat was also burnt out completely. But at DSP, the Nissan crew was ready to give their men and their flying machines the break they deserved. Foss and Pitchford first after setting the fastest time of 1 hour and 59 minutes for the first loop. A fine drive.
Krobler next, 52 seconds behind on the clock. But remember, he lost a minute when he stalled it on that tricky hairpin.
Going well. The car's running perfectly, no problems. Ralph is doing a good job refining the route. Pace is quite quick, but everything is perfect so far. So hopefully it can carry on like this.
Moore was happy with the pace, the route, and his pilot.
Well, it's very fast. The route is very well marked, and we're lying second at the moment, just behind Duncan and Ralph. But we're right on his tail. We're going out now. It's a very good route. Some very soft sand and quite fast.
For Variawa, it was a hard last stretch on the forearms, while his team had to figure out what was wrong with the power steering.
Clean run, just no power steering for last 50 k's, so we're trying to, basically we're battling it out the last 50 k's, trying to keep the car on the road. But we're changing the pup and we'll be out. No problems, otherwise the car is running smooth, no punches.
For Toyota's Mark Grenier, it was as always a blast, a fast one.
Yeah, it's an awesome event. The guys have done a great job on the route markings. We've got a small snag, so we've had to take it easy for the last 40 k's. But it's been good. I've been enjoying it. It's really been good.
In the Regent Racing paddock, there was still time for banter.
While forwards Woolridge and Scholthammer had caught up some time after stopping to help with the accident.
So far, so good. Beautiful terrain, beautiful terrain. Hard work, you got to concentrate. But yeah, halfway, we just got to keep it going. It's a big tough fight out there.
Anything up your sleeve for the next run?
No, I think we just got to keep it smooth. Don't want to climb out of the car. That's it. Keep it on the road.
For the Ford boys, it was a tough start to the season.
Yeah, unfortunately, one of the guys had a big accident and the car was on fire, so we stopped to help put the fire out and spent quite a lot of time there, and so many people have got past us now. We're just battling in the dust. It's almost like follow my leader, so a bit frustrating at the moment, but you know, it's off-road racing, it's a sport. You've got to do if someone's injured or something's on fire. It's the rules. You've got to stop and help, which we did. So unfortunately, it's one of those things, you know.
Bevan Berthold was a little shy of racing fitness, but the big guy was being cautious for once.
A little bit dusty. Our qualifying was a bit slow yesterday, a bit rusty from not having practiced enough. So got caught with my pants down, but today it's going well. The Bucky's doing very well. Very hard in the dust to try and attack, because you can go wrong very easily. So we're just maintaining a pace. Hope we can come home third, somewhere there. We're doing very nicely at this stage of the game. We've passed a couple of guys on the road, and it's quite a challenging track. So I'm sure fitness will come into it at the end. Hope we make up some places.
For Thomas Rundle, the loose stuff was providing some big headaches and a very sad face.
It's very thick, the sand, and we struggle a bit with this 2.4. But we'll keep going, and we'll try and see if we can catch Fis, who's I think about a minute or two in front of us.
And that just told you how competitive the boys are out there. Vos leading by 33 seconds from the all-time great Grobler, with Mark Grenier chomping at their heels.
And in the special vehicle class, Team Total Motorsports Variawa and Rousseau enjoying a scant 28-second advantage over Motorite's Harkis and Lead. Marsh and Groenewald keeping the pressure on with a consistent drive.
Vehicle and asset